Hi, this is John Brickner with HR Collaborative coming to you with this week's edition of the Elevating HR series. And we're continuing our conversation around the digital transformation and what that means for HR. So last week we talked about making sure that we have the right resources on the job. This week we're going to take a step back and really talk about what is this digital transformation anyway? And also, what are three considerations that every HR person should be asking their leadership so that they're part of this transformation? So the first is, what is digital transformation? This is really anything new, fast, or frequently changing. Application of digital technologies to the way we do business. In fact, in 2019 alone, 2/3 of the CEOs across the globe implemented at least one or more of these technologies into the way that they do business. And these include artificial intelligence, so again, automating those basic tasks, crunching big data, large volumes of data to allow us to be more predictive. Anything as a service, so this is again putting anything up on the cloud. About 50% of IT organizations have really put about half of what used to be in server rooms out onto the cloud, and it allows them to kind of pivot and adapt and adjust to new technologies coming on and let go of some of that risk. And then robotic process automation, and this is really any physical task and being able to kind of automate those simple tasks and needing to think about what upskilling needs to happen in the organization as a result of that. So what are three things that any of us as HR professionals can do to really elevate our conversations to leadership? And there are really three things. Number one is, how is our operating model changing? And what does that mean for our structure? Again, McKinsey and Harvard Business Review tell us that this is not just a plug and play. This is an ongoing system, and there are a lot of changes that will need to take place. Which brings us to the second point. Do we have the talent we need? Do we need to build or buy that talent? Are we located in the right physical locations to be able to get the talent we need to make this digital transformation happen? What skills do we need to build internally, such as coding, to be able to make sure that we continue and enable what we've turned on? And then third, how are we constantly iterating? How can we as HR who have experience in change management and iteration, things like Agile HR, be part of this idea that this process never ends. This change is ongoing. It's part of the way that we do business. So how can we as HR help the leaders iterate around this new way of operating? That's all for this week. We'll see you next week.